Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Hunter Nelson, you go ahead and lead off.
Hey, Garrett, thanks for taking the time to join us here today. Hope you're doing well. So Sam is obviously the ACC preseason player of the year, is in talks for one of the top picks in next year's draft. What are some of the ways you've seen him grow as a leader from year one to year three to where he is today?
Sam's kind of always been that I like to call him silent assassin. Kind of leads by example. But this year, and I think even into last year, you started to see him be more vocal. Not just on the field, but off the field, like in lifts, in team meetings. Um, I feel like his freshman year, he was, he didn't know what to expect, and I also know he was going through some personal things. So he was a little more reserved, I would say. But now that he is what he is, he feels a lot more comfortable. He's really taken a big step in his leadership, and I think you guys will see it pay off for our team this year.
Greg Hall.
Garrett, last season with Diami and Daz, as far as the passing game was concerned, it was really those guys and then the running backs, and then other guys like yourself and the tight ends kind of helped in certain situations. I was just curious how that's changed to this year, as maybe Sam can spread the ball around more, as defenses don't really know who are going to be the primary weapons for you guys early in the season.
Yeah, I would like that, but I think the ball, this offense is designed for the ball to be spread evenly. And I think, you're going to see some guys step up. Um, yeah, really all I got for that question. Sorry.
Any follow up, Greg?
Yeah, just do you see the tight ends having a bigger role? I guess kind of more the line I was going down as far as passes increasing and being used more in goal line sets and things like that.
Yeah, I hope so. We've been told that, kind of been working on some things. So hopefully it'll carry over to the season. But yeah, to answer your question, I think we should.
CL.
Hey, Garrett, I think you've been asked this before previously, but I was just curious, now that you're back in it and going forward with this year, what did you want to improve on? What were kind of the reasons and the motivations you had for coming back for this season?
Well, first and foremost, I think this team can be one of the more special teams in Carolina history. We're taking great strides year in and year out under Coach Brown. The defense is looking so much better than last year. We've got a ton of depth. It's just something I couldn't miss out on there. And another thing was I wanted to improve on my entire game. I wanted to get more production in the pass game, show, what I can do for the next level. Because I think that's my strong suit. Just, I've been behind a bunch of NFL caliber guys since I've been here, in tight ends and other position groups as well. And then I wanted to improve more on my inline blocking. I think my blocking in space has gotten a whole lot better. Inline, still got to play lower. Pad level's got to be lower. And, I've really worked on my flexibility for that. And then I've always, dreamed of being drafted. I think I've said this to one of y'all before, but, the running thing in my household is, I can't let my little brother be the only one in the family that, gets drafted. Because I know I have to hear about that more than I already do. But it's always been a goal of mine. So.
And you talk about in the flexibility. To what end? Do you do yoga? What were you? What are some of the things you incorporate into a regimen to kind of get you?
So I earlier in the spring I went to our training staff, and I'm like, I got to get more flexible because I've got to play lower. I think it'll help with my speed too, and to creating more opportunities in the pass game to get open, create more separation. So I went to them and I was like, listen, I need a full plan on ankle mobility, hip mobility, groin mobility, and I don't want it to be some one-page, thing. I want it to be in depth, and I want it to take like 30 minutes to do. So they created me a personalized plan. And I went out to Walmart and bought about every stretching band and thick yoga mat so my knees could, be supported. And every night, before I go to bed, I roll out that yoga mat and I do that. And then I also do the same routine, after our lifts or post or pre-lift.
See if you can email us that list, Garrett. I think you're not the only one that needs that stuff. Ross.
Hey, Garrett, good stuff there on the flexibility. One player on offense that you think is going to have a big season that we may not know about, can't say Josh Downs, but one guy you think is going to stand out that you've seen some positive stuff from him in the offseason and into practice.
You're talking about maybe like other than the projected starters?
Yeah. Someone that we don't know about as much, fans may not know about, some kind of underrated guy, I guess.
Since the running backs get talked about a lot, from what we lost, I really like the potential of DJ Jones and Caleb. I think, with them two, the whole running back group feeds off each other. They all push each other. And that started, with Mike and Vontae and, DJ and Hendo. And Hendo's another guy, I think. He's primarily special teams, but he's got great speed, great agility. I think any three of those guys could really make a big step this year. Just because the running back group was led by two of the best guys I've ever seen since I've been here. And I've been here a while. I've seen some running backs, but it started with Mike and Vontae, and those three guys were here and saw how they work and saw how by pushing each other, you make each other better. And I think the running back room is going to be completely fine.
You speak briefly on Caleb Hood, and we don't know too much about him.
Caleb is very hardworking. Anytime there's off days where there's, optional lifts or optional mobility sessions, he's in there. DJ, same thing. Those two guys kind of travel together, it seems like. Caleb's a thick back. I've never seen him fall on the ground. He's, when we don't have pads on like right now, it's kind of like pinball because that kid never is going to fall down. He was even cramping today on one run, and you could see him hobbling, and he still wouldn't go down. Real thick in the lower half, just seems to bounce off people, and he's got surprisingly great inline speed.
Time for two last quick questions, one from Hunter and one from Greg Hall.
Hi again. So I guess it's kind of going back in time a little bit, but for you and the returning players who decided to utilize that extra year, I guess you and Bo specifically on offense, was that something that you planned on doing, sort of throughout the season, or did you sort of wait until the end of the year to weigh all your options and go from there?
Yeah. So, throughout the season, I was kind of like, yeah, this is my last year. And then, probably I would say around the bowl game, maybe before the bowl game, we had a week to really, think about things before we played. That was when I was like, all right, I need to really start thinking about this more and start talking with Coach Lilly, Coach Brown, and my dad. And so leading up to the bowl game, after practice, I had meetings with Coach Brown and Coach Lilly. And, they were like, do what's best for you. We'd obviously love to have you back, but do what's best for you. So me and my dad really started talking really right after the bowl game, when I had 3 or 4 days before I had to make a decision. And there was just too many positives here, with the potential of the team. Plus, I wanted to improve on things. I most likely was not going to get drafted last year. Actually, I know for a fact I wasn't. And that was like those three things. I was like, yeah, I need to come back. And I'm glad I did. It's been great so far.
Last question, Greg Hall.
Garrett, I wanted to ask you about the guys behind you, Bryson Nesbitt, Kamar Morales, John Copenhaver. How'd they look yesterday and how'd they look during the offseason?
So I'll start with Kamari. Kamari looks real good. He knows the playbook in and out. Very strong dude. He'll be fine thrown in there. Y'all seen him a little bit last year. He'll be fine. Cope's really improved in his blocking and route running. He's a guy that came in kind of like, I know he'll be good, but he's kind of, it's kind of taking him. It took him a while to get used to the college physicality, and took him a little bit to learn, the playbook, which it does for most freshmen, especially at tight end. But he's really improved. Everybody's very pleased with him. And then Bryson, he's a really raw guy. He's a great athlete. He played basketball, I'm pretty sure, and was, really good at it. And you can tell, with his body. I think Bryson would be real good. He's starting to pick up the playbook already. You just got to adjust to the college speed of the game, which he'll do once he's more confident in what he's, supposed to do assignment wise. But athletically, I think Bryson, can be a very good one.
Garrett, thank you very much. Appreciate everybody jumping on the